Hey, what's going on? In this video, I'm sitting down with a good friend and certified sex therapist named Debby Wade, and the question I am asking her is, how do you respond when your spouse wants to do something sexually that you're not comfortable with? And she's going to give us the verified expert advice at what to do on this. So before we jump into that, if you've not already done so, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss any upcoming videos. If you want a free guide to intimacy, you'll see it in the link below. But for now, let's talk about what to do if your spouse wants you to do something sexually you're not comfortable with. That's today on Relation Shots. And so I'm here with Debby Wade, good friend and certified sex therapist, and I'm about to lob some quick rapid fire questions about sex to her, and we're going to get the answers you've always been wondering about. So here we go. First question I have is, how do you respond when your spouse wants to do something sexually that you're not comfortable with?
Good question, and a frequently asked question. Sometimes we want to take sex and set it apart from everything else and treat it differently than when we do everything else. And we forget that in almost everything else in life that we deal with, there's preferences.
Sure.
And if it comes to restaurants or food or movies or sports and those kinds of things, I'm certain that your and Jill's preferences of those things don't always line up.
Sure, but me eating a steak doesn't usually cause shame. You know what I mean? I mean, I feel like there's a different level of trauma that could come with this area.
Well, yes, it is. It's a much more sensitive area, but we don't want to just think that we should have to do something just because our spouse wants to do it.
Sure.
And I think especially women need to have that freedom to go, no, I don't think I want to do that. Mm-hmm. Now, I think we could all practice in sharing our honest hearts in a kind way. Okay. Babe, I know that's something that you love, but I don't enjoy that. Can we do one of these 30 other things I enjoy?
Sure, 30. What if they're
or
like,
one of these two other things I enjoy?
What if they're like,
okay?
I only want to do it this way? Should there be a time when we should be willing to indulge what our spouse wants? And maybe it's like, maybe the line is, if it doesn't cause me shame or pain, I should be willing to stretch a little. Or is it just, we don't ever want to put somebody in a position, so if it's missionary for the rest of our lives, it is what it is.
Right. Well, I think, of course, there's going to be a lot more to that than just
a quick answer.
There's a quick answer. But I think certainly we'd want to first and always see if there is any trauma, unhealed wounds, shame or guilt that is connected with something.
Sure. Before
we just go, well, you ought to be able to do this or you ought to be able to do that. So I think to be caring for one another, that if my spouse doesn't want to do this, then I would want to find out why.
Okay.
And so help me understand why that's not enjoyable. Help me understand why you don't want to do that. But us respecting it, not just, well, if that's the best way that I know you love me is that you're willing to do that, so I'm not going to feel loved unless you're willing to do that. That becomes pretty selfish as well. And so I think when we think about sex and whether it's positions we want to try or new exciting things we read about or heard about or maybe we've seen and we think, really just try that, of looking at the heart of the issue. Is this something that I am just wanting to do because I want it? Mm-hmm. Or am I really interested in knowing if my spouse would enjoy that or not? So I think making room for both the husband and the wife, making room for the preferences of what each other likes and doesn't like. And so I can be real specific, right?
Sure.
Okay. So the oral sex question almost always comes up under something like that. If a husband really, really enjoys giving oral sex and really, really wants to do that for his wife, but the wife really, really doesn't like it. The wife, it's not only that she doesn't enjoy it, it makes her want to pull her hair out because she's so uncomfortable with it, or it just does not feel good. Mm-hmm. For the man to be insistent, well, I ought to get to do that for you because your body belongs to me, that's kind of like just invalidating everything about her.
Sure.
But to say, okay, I get it, that's something you don't enjoy. Help me understand the things you do enjoy, and those are the things I want to do. And the husband may have to grieve
Sure.
that that's not going to be something he's going to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's flip that around, because this
Okay.
shows up a lot.
Sure.
For a man who really, really enjoys receiving oral sex from his wife, and the wife, not so much enjoys it, but is willing to do it. I mean, it's not her preference of my favorite things, but it doesn't bother me to do it. I don't enjoy doing it, but I will do it. I have a willingness to do it.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's different, because that's something she's offering up to do for him that he enjoys and his body's receiving. That's a little different for a woman to be asked to allow herself to receive something
Sure.
that she really doesn't enjoy receiving. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
Okay.
so the end is our hearts at times should have a desire to, I know you don't like the word serve, should have a desire to minister to each
or
other.
serve one another.
If
Right.
if it's not something that, is completely shameful or anti, but at the same time our heart should also be, I don't want to force my spouse to receive or give something that makes this, because it's supposed to be mutually enjoyable.
Right.
Is the answer.
Because if the whole thing behind all this is desire,
Sure.
that and enjoyment and satisfying and pleasure, to make or feel like we need to keep asking our spouse to do something that they really
Certainly
don't.
not going to help
It's not
our
gonna
sexual relationship long term, right?
It's not going to help build
They're going
desire.
to start avoiding stuff. All right, well, hopefully that was not only informative, but helpful to you in your relationship. Maybe some thoughts and ideas on how you guys can bridge the gap sexually in your marriage. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on that, so drop a comment in the section below and let's talk a little bit more about this idea. If we can help you in any aspect of your relationship, listen, if this is a struggle for you and you need some outside help, we'd love to walk alongside you, whether that's through counseling, maybe some coaching, or being a part of our membership marriage community. We'd love to walk with you as you navigate things like this and more inside the membership. And inside the membership, we have much longer and much more detailed conversations, not only with Debbie, but other experts and other topics as well that may be helpful for you in your relationship. So if we can help you, we'd love to walk with you in your journey. Until next time, see you right back here on Relation Shots.